Hello there, welcome to this tutorial where we'll be building a fun and powerful mobile app using Python, Kivy, and the Imagine.art API. If you've ever wanted to turn your thoughts into stunning AI-generated images right from your phone, then you're in the right place. Whether you're a complete beginner or you've been coding for a while, don't worry, I'll walk you through everything step by step. We'll build this app from the ground up, keeping it clean, simple, and fun. So grab a drink, relax, and let's get started. We're creating an AI image generation app using Python and Kivy, powered by the Imagine.art API. It's a cool little project that really shows off what you can do with just a few tools and some creativity. To make things easier, I've prepared a starter kit that you can find linked in the Patreon section in the description. There's no need to register or become a member, but if you do, I truly appreciate the support. Once you've downloaded the starter kit, unzip it and open the folder in your text editor. I'll be using Visual Studio Code, but feel free to use whatever you're comfortable with. Now let's set up the project and install everything we need. Open a terminal in your project folder. If you're in VS Code, you can use the shortcut, Control and tilde, that's Control plus the squiggly line. In the terminal, type this command to create a virtual environment. This helps keep your project dependencies isolated from your system. Next, activate the environment. If you're on Windows, use this command. On Mac OS or Linux, it's this one instead. Awesome, your virtual environment is now active. Next up, we need to install the project requirements. Just run this command. This will pull in all the packages we need to get going. Now for the fun part, we need our API key. Head over to the Imagine.art website, log in, or create an account if you don't have one yet. Once you're in, look at the left sidebar and scroll down until you see the link labeled API. Click on that, then go to API Keys and click Create New API Key. Once the key is generated, copy it. Now jump back into your project folder and open the generate.py file inside the API folder. Look for the API key variable and paste your new key there to replace the default value. Perfect. That connects your app to the Imagine.art service. Now let's work on the UI. In the Views folder, which is where we keep all of our screen widgets, create a new folder called Intro. Inside that folder, create a file named intro.py for the logic, and another file called intro.kv for the layout and styles. Inside intro.py, we start by importing the necessary packages. Then, we define a class for our intro widget. We also load the kv file using the Kivy builder to link the logic and layout together. In the intro.kv file, we initialize our intro widget and set the orientation to vertical. Nice and clean. Let's now add this screen to the main app. Go to the app folder and open main.kv. Import the intro widget and add a new screen to the screen manager. Set its name to intro and insert your intro widget into it. Give it an ID of intro so we can reference it easily later on. Alright, now try running the app to make sure everything works. If you see a blank screen, that's perfect for now. It means everything's loading correctly. Let's start designing the actual interface for the intro screen. Back in intro.kv, add some padding for spacing. Now let's add a background image. To do that, we create a canvas context. First, set the color to white. Then, add a rectangle that fills the entire widget space. Set your background image as the texture for this rectangle, and there you have it, a full-screen background image. Looking good so far. Now let's add the main title and subtitle. Start by adding a box layout to act as a wrapper. Set its orientation to vertical and add some padding. Then, create a label for the title. The text should be, "Bring your thoughts to life." Set the font size to 40 and make it bold. Labels in Kivy don't automatically wrap, so we need to help it out. First, set size hint y to none. This allows the label to grow based on its content height. Then set text size to self.parent.width none. This tells the label to limit its width to match the parent container, but not restrict the height. That way the text wraps vertically as needed. Now, add another label for the subtitle. Use the text. From imagination to reality, we bring your thoughts to life with AI-generated images. Apply the same size and wrapping logic here too. Awesome. Now let's add a call to action button. Create another box layout as a wrapper and set size hint y to none with a fixed height of 54 pixels. Add a gradient button inside this box. This is a custom widget, so go to the top of your file and import it from the buttons.py file in the widgets folder. The gradient button uses a custom gradient texture. Since we'll be using this style throughout the app, go to main.kv in the app folder and import the gradient class there too. Back in intro.kv, set the button text to Let's Create. For the font size, use the H3 font setting defined in your main app class. When this button is pressed, we'll navigate to the home screen, looking really nice. Now let's add a bit of animation to bring the screen to life. Start by giving IDs to the three main widgets. The title label gets an ID of title, the subtitle gets subtitle, and the button gets button. Set their opacity to 0 initially. We'll animate each one so it fades in smoothly. In intro.py, create a list to hold these widget IDs. These are the ones we'll animate. Also set a duration variable to define how long each animation should take. Now define a function called fadeIn. We'll use Kivy's clock to schedule this function once the screen loads. Inside the function, we first check if there are any IDs left to animate. If the list is empty, we just return. If there are IDs, we pop the last one in the list. This is the next widget to animate. We then create an animation instance that changes the widget's opacity from 0 to 1. This gives us a clean fade-in effect. To animate the next widget after this one finishes, we bind to the onComplete event of the animation. When it finishes, we call the same fade-in function again. This way, we cycle through the widgets one by one. Finally, start the animation on the current widget. And just like that, you've created a fully animated, beautifully styled intro screen. Great job so far. That's it for part 1. In the next episode, we will work on the home screen.